for sale. That's me making a fool of myself just outside this studio. I tried to sell lemonade legally, but I couldn't do it. Fox lawyers let me do this only if I gave people their money back and didn't let anyone drink the lemonade. To sell lemonade legally would have taken me months of paperwork. You must complete a 15-hour food protection course, register for a food safety exam, pass it, then register for a sales tax certificate, apply for a temporary food establishment permit, arrange to be inspected by the health department. That takes 3 weeks just to get an appointment. Then you have to buy a fire extinguisher certified by the government and get a contract for waste disposal and more. I gave up. But I'm optimistic about the future because there are some young Americans who don't give up, who want to fight the entrepreneurship-killing bureaucrats. Chloe Sterling is one of those people. She's 12. She joins us with her mom, Heather. So, Chloe, what'd you do? You took a baking class, and then what happened?
Well, about 2 years ago, I took a baking class, and after that first class, I decided that I really liked to do it, and so when all my friends saw the pictures of them, they decided that they wanted me to bake their cakes and cupcakes for their birthdays and stuff. And
then they started paying you for them?
Yeah.
And Heather, it just grew.
It just grew. She kind of found herself in business based on popular demand.
And she's always liked doing this. She at 8 years old, what happened?
8 years old, the iPads came out, and she came to me and her dad and said she wanted one. We said no. So she decided she was going to earn it, and she started her own pet sitting business that April, and she pet sat all summer long and ended up buying herself an iPad.
And at the time they cost $600. That's
right.
A lot of pet sitting.
Took her a few months, but she got it.
All right, and then the cupcakes, and it grew, and you were selling how many?
I was selling probably a dozen a week.
She had orders every weekend for booked a month and a half out.
How much money?
I really don't know. I just knew that I was putting all the money in my savings account.
How much money?
She doesn't even take money out of the savings account. She's got more money than most. Well, she probably
$10,000?
No. No, she probably made, you know, $50 a week maybe.
The local paper did a feature story on you, and immediately after that an email came from the health department saying to you, to Mom.
Yeah. Said, please call us about your daughter. And when I called, they said, she is not to bake anymore. Do not let another cupcake leave that house.
Do not let another cupcake leave the house.
Yes.
And we asked the Illinois Department of Health about this. Why would they shut Chloe down? And what they said was, in a statement, without standard sanitation training, clear labeling of ingredients that could cause potentially fatal allergic reactions, we cannot ensure the safety of foods. So what about that, Chloe? You know, they're just protecting me from you poisoning me.
I thought that it was kind of odd that they wouldn't let an 11-year-old bake out of her home and sell it to her friends and family.
But you're making money.
Yeah, I was making money, but still, I was only 11. Like, I wasn't making, like, a lot of money.
She might have poisoned somebody.
She's never sold a cupcake to anybody that was not 100% aware that they were buying a cupcake from a child that was prepared in her kitchen. Everyone that ever ordered anything from her came to her. She's never advertised. She's never had to go look for business. They have come to her willingly, and she's never made anyone sick either.
So what's happening now? You're going to give up?
No, we're not giving up. We're in the process of trying to change the law so me and other people like me can bake out of their homes.
And you've made progress. A state representative has gotten the legislature to vote to change the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten 100% of the votes towards us on the committee and the House.
And also people are donating commercial kitchen equipment to you?
Yeah. The health department, part of the big issue here was there were no options for her. There wasn't an avenue for her to take. If she wanted to bake again, they told us we had to buy a bakery or add an additional kitchen onto our home, strictly used for her baking.
And they say this with a straight face?
With a straight
face. Buy a bakery?
Yes.
Add another kitchen?
Yes. So lucky for us, she's been supported by people all over the country.
People volunteer to do carpentry work for you?
Yes, we've got one company in particular that's kind of leading the way for building Chloe's kitchen.
This is what it takes to be an entrepreneur in America today. Thank you, Chloe and Heather. You've heard the expression, you can't fight City Hall. People say it for a reason. The bureaucrats have all the time and money in the world. They don't care if you lose your investment or how much time it takes you. It's why they usually win. They pretty much defeated the little girl we met in the last segment, but occasionally an entrepreneur has the resources and will to fight back and win. Greg Garrett did that. He raises oysters on his land, or just off his land in Virginia. You brought me some. Thank you.
Yeah, the oysters are, I mean, they taste fantastic. We're serving them up here in New York. We're shipping them to California, all over the country. It's, you know, we have great oyster grounds. We're able to secure the prime oyster grounds at the mouth of the York River on the Chesapeake Bay. And, I mean, the county ought to be proud of our oysters. They ought to be proud that they're being shipped all over the country.
Well, they taste good. I approve. 10 different government permits were required, and you got them. But then the authorities said it's not enough. You misinterpreted our 700-page code of ordinances. You'll have to get another permit, which we won't give you, so you'll just have to shut down.
Yeah, 3 years into the oyster farm, we had all the permits from the state, and the county said, you're violating our zoning ordinance, and we're not going to let you continue.
You went to circuit court. The county, you won there, but then the county took it to the Supreme Court, where you lost.
Right.
And then you tell it.
Yeah, well, see, at the Supreme Court, again, they were deciding on a very technical issue about land use, right, which I won't go into. So we lost. So the state legislature said, this is not right. Wherever you can grow buffalo and goats and cows and hippopotamuses, you ought to be able to grow oysters. And so the state legislature voted 128 to 5 in a bipartisan pact to approve this.
A rare act, partly because you're good at getting some publicity like this, and the politicians paid attention, but they can't do that for every entrepreneur.
No, they cannot.
But you made a good reference there. Your land was okayed for livestock.
Right.
Which meant you could have raised, what, pigs and buffalo would have been legal?
Perfectly legal by the county standards.
But oysters, no. And the county supervisor didn't respond to our calls, but we found something they wrote. Aquaculture is not a traditional farming activity. Processing and storage can have a significant negative impact on surrounding neighbors due to odors, noise, and traffic.
And then what is a pig farm going to have? I'm zoned for a pig farm. I mean, does that have any potential for effect on the neighbors? But in our case, the oysters are silent. They don't smell. There's no noise. The biggest piece of equipment we have is a 7-horsepower power washer. My lawnmower has a 15-horsepower motor.
And there are 700-plus pages of rules. Some are crazy. You can't tie the oyster boat to your dock.
Right. That's one of the things that the Supreme Court ruled, that said we cannot tie the boat to the dock. So we have to put up PVC pipes a foot away from the dock, and the oyster farmers have to jump from the boat to the dock and back and forth, and because they can't conduct the oyster operation on the dock or on the land because the county's claimed zoning jurisdiction over the land and the dock. But the boat's fine, because it's out of their jurisdiction.
And when you get this many rules, it really means any bureaucrat can cite you for just about anything, anytime.
Oh, it's like living in Hazard County, and I'm one of the Duke brothers, because I've come against these people. I have not obeyed them, and 2 are retired colonels, and they can't be wrong. And so they have made these rules, and they've even changed rules along the way.
And they're not giving up, even though you've got one in the legislature.
No, the legislature, again, 128 to 5 is the victory we had at the state level.
They're still coming
after you? The governor signed it. Oh, yeah, I just got served with another lawsuit.
How much does this cost you in legal fees?
Thousands and thousands of dollars. The legal fees, actually, most weeks, or many weeks, the legal fees are greater than the entire gross revenue of the oyster farm. If I wasn't in the real estate business and had a successful business, I could never fight this.
Why don't you just say, okay, I give up?
I'm not going to give up. I mean, my family has been in this county since 1620, and we've been eating oysters out of that river since 1620, 15 generations. And it's just, I'm not going to give up. I mean, this is where Cornwallis surrendered, and I'm going to stay here until this Board of Supervisors surrendered. This is Yorktown, Virginia. where freedom was won for America.
America's supposed to be about liberty,